Can new nonprofits get grants? I'm going to answer this question in this video. Let's get into it. Hey there, this is Tiffany with Boss on a Budget. I help nonprofits get started and raise money for their new nonprofits. And I wanted to address this question because it came up as a comment on one of my videos. And I said, well, let me break it on down for people who really need to know whether or not grants are viable if you are super new. So before I answer this question, don't forget about my Purpose Profit community. It is a membership community for founders, whether you have a nonprofit or for-profit, who need help and accountability and encouragement as they find their startup funding. So if you want to get training directly from me, if you want to get weekly encouragement, you want to have accountability groups of people who are just like you across the world, make sure you join by clicking the link below. So let me answer this question really quickly. Can new nonprofits get grants? The answer is yes. And you may be asking, well, how hard is it? Because I've read that it can be really, really difficult. So don't waste your time on grants if you're super new. So the answer to that question is it depends. And I'm going to break down that it depends right now. And also, I'm going to give you 3 pointers to make sure you can win grants as a new nonprofit. So here's the thing. New nonprofits can get grants, but it's less likely that you're going to get a major substantial grant that's in the 6 figures when you're super new. And the reason why is because funders, when they're investing that amount of money, first of all, it's an investment. So they want to make sure that it's a good investment. And you don't necessarily have a financial track record where they can feel comfortable giving you that amount of money, knowing that it's going to be used wisely. So that's why you hear some of that chatter around, well, if you're super new and you haven't been around for at least 3 years, you're not going to get grants. So in part, I do agree with that because it is difficult, though it's not impossible. Let me tell you, it is difficult to get major grants when you're super new. But I hear about people getting grants when they're super new all the time. And there are some who are so savvy that within their third or fourth year, they are getting those 6-figure grants. So again, it is possible, but there are certain things you need to know to make you more marketable and to make you more attractive to get those grants. The first thing you want to think about is going after the right grants. So a lot of people, because they don't understand the grant world a lot, they may assume that the only grants they can get is from the federal government. I have heard people say that. And one thing you got to remember is that there are all kinds of grants. There are foundation grants, corporate grants, and government grants. I break this down in my grants masterclass. I'll link it below so you can have that basic knowledge. But federal government grants are incredibly complicated and they're a lot to manage. So as a new organization, you probably don't even have the infrastructure to write the grant proposal and then to manage the grant if you were to win it. So you want to go after the right grants that fit you for the season you're in with your nonprofit. I always tell people to look at local, community-based grants. A lot of grant giving is geographically based. So if an organization has a tie to that area, particularly corporations, if they have a tie in that area, meaning maybe the founder of the organization is from that area, or they have a large presence in that area, or they have a location in that area, they more than likely will fund community organizations. And for a lot of these corporation grants or corporate foundation grants, they don't look at how long you've been in existence. They don't use that to determine whether or not you're eligible or not. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're going after the right grants and make sure you're going after the more simple grants. Now, I do recommend, though, that you use the grants process to get good at telling your story, talking about your why, presenting your program in a clear way. And so you still want to be working on that. Even though with those smaller grants, you may not have to flesh all of that out, because with the smaller local grants, they don't ask for a lot of information. They just want to know what you want to use the money for and why is it needed. So the point of this is go after the smaller grants, or go after the grants that are appropriate for you. If you are a small organization, you may not be able to deal with the 6-figure grant right now. So going after that may not make sense because you may not have the infrastructure to even know what to do with that. So make sure you're attracting the right kind of funding and the right size of funding. The second thing I want you to remember in any kind of fundraising, and I consider grant writing as a part of fundraising, relationships matter. So you're more likely to get funding if the organization has some kind of connection to you or some kind of connection to someone who knows you. So for example, I know of organizations like corporations that will give money if their employees are serving on the board of a nonprofit. And they'll give a grant or they'll give a contribution just because of that relationship. If an organization has prior knowledge of you or prior knowledge of your work and you're communicating with them about what you're planning to do and you're having meetings talking about the success of your programming, that's building a relationship, that's building a connection with people, and they're more likely to fund you because they have a personal connection to you. If you know someone who's attached to the foundation or has worked with the foundation, for example, if we're talking about foundation grants, then get in touch with that person, have meetings with that person. If you know you want to get funding from a particular grant funder, find out who works for them. And if it's appropriate, because it may not be appropriate for government staff, but if it's appropriate, go have coffee with that person or set up a meeting with that person just to hear more about what they're doing and to see if your organization is a good fit for them. Now, they may not go for coffee or anything like that, but you may be able to go to coffee with people who know them, right? And develop relationships so they can put in a good word with you. Or you may at least set up a phone meeting or a Zoom meeting. So the second thing I want you to remember is that relationships matter. And never forget this. If a funder wants to fund you, they will find a way to fund you. And I need you to always remember that. I've seen it many times. If they want to give you money, the complications or the barriers that may come up with you being small or you not having something, they will overcome that if they really do want to fund you. So you need to focus on building those personal connections so they want to do that for you. And the last thing I really want you to focus on is telling a good story. So a lot of what grant writing is persuasive writing. It's making a case for why that organization should give you money. Remember that this is an investment for them. They want to see a return. And that return isn't, money back to them, but it's, did you do what you're going to say you're going to do? Did you create some kind of impact in the world? What kind of impact can you communicate with them so they can show their board the result of the money that they invested? And their board members are looking to see that foundation staff in particular are making good decisions about who's funded because they want to be smart about who they decide to fund, because this is a partnership. I want you to start thinking about this as a partnership. This isn't just you requesting money so you can go out and do your business. It's you developing a partnership. They have something they want and you have something that you want. And it's you guys coming together, finding those alignments and succeeding with the investment that they gave you. So I want you to think about making the case, having a really good story for why your organization should be funded. So from the very beginning, you should be doing this even before you fill out any paperwork for the state. You should be writing out a case statement to figure out what are the arguments you're going to make to show that your organization is worthy of funding and why somebody should fund you over another organization. And that doesn't feel good thinking about it like that because you're like, well, everybody needs funding. But I need you to be able to understand what is your unique mark in the marketplace, for lack of better words. What is your unique factor? How do you stand out? And why should somebody or some organization fund you? Why is the time now to fund you? And the stronger you make that case, the more likely you're going to get funded, along with the other things that I mentioned. So remember that it's not just about writing, or answering questions just as they want to hear it. It's about being persuasive. It's about having a compelling story. It's about showing them that if they don't fund your organization, this will happen. This negative thing will happen, right? You're making the case to make them respond to you. All right. So I hope this was helpful. If you need help writing out your first grant proposal, I do have a grant writing workbook. I'm linking that below also. And if you need help, you need to join my Purpose Profit community where I help people get their startup funding. It's a membership community that I'm linking below. And you can always visit me at my website at bossonabudget.com for more help. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.